Intermix Radio, your music smoothie. Playing the best of your 80s and 90s music. WYMS.
That's right, you're checking out
Digital Radio, Palmetto, Georgia.
It's that time again. Tap in, tune in, join in with DJ Blend and Lady Blend. Live on Intermix Radio.
Hey, yes, we are back.
We are back. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, how
Good
you
evening.
doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty good.
You're doing pretty good, so
Pretty
you're not
good.
fair to mid.
I'm not fair to middling today. I'm doing pretty good.
Oh, you're doing pretty
Yeah.
good. Okay, good.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, hello to everybody that's out there.
Yes, hello. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yes, definitely. So, Lady Blend, what do we got on the schedule for today?
So, of course, our format is the first hour. We have the podcast with the topic, the interactive topic. And then the second hour, we have where you can call in or text in your requests or your shout outs. And you can also call in or text in your comments at 305-898-0271.
That's just awesome sauce, and I say that is most definitely. Well, all right, so what you want to just go ahead and jump right in?
I guess after we introduce ourselves.
Yes, I mean, hey, that's right. Yes, I am DJ Blend.
And I am Lady Bland.
And we are Intermix Radio, and you're listening to the Midweek Smoothie. Oh, yeah. All right, Lady Bland, come on, let's get it kicked off. What you got to say?
So today's topic, we're talking about technology and how technology influences behavior or developmental behavior, which is a very interesting topic. When I was doing the research for this, I was a little bit surprised. I knew some things, but I was surprised at some other things. So we can get into that. We're going to get a little music first, and then we'll jump into the topic.
Time to pay some bills. We will be right back with more of your favorite 80s and 90s music here on Intermix Radio.
Hey, it's that time. You know we got to get into this because Lady Blend, I'm telling you, I know you got it wrapped up for us, got it tied in a bow and everything. This a early Christmas gift for us, ain't it?
So, as DJ Bland said, we are back, and we are talking about how the technology, our modern technology today, affects our developmental behavior. So we can start off by saying that we know that technology affects every aspect of our lives. We have our smartphones, the internet, we have cloud computing, we have other interventions of technology. And it affects our communication, it affects our business, travel, and it even affects our agriculture. So it is safe to say that it affects every aspect of our lives.
Okay.
So one of the questions that was posed is, does it affect our brains as well?
Does it?
Yes.
I can see, like, I know if the more you hold the phone to your ear, the waves does something. I know they were doing some studies some years ago.
Yeah, they've done some studies about that, but that's nothing that's really ever really panned out about that. But when I say, does it affect our brains, does it affect how we think? How we process information.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's too easy at the
And
fingertips.
It's actually it affects more than what we think, more than what we expect.
Okay.
So we do have psychologists. Psychologists agree that these new technologies that we have shape our thinking.
Right.
Shape our thinking. Either obviously or subtly, either deliberate or unintentional.
Wow,
right?
It's getting kind of
It
deep.
can be advantageous or it can be detrimental.
Okay. Well, I want to stick to the advantageous
It can be
side.
all of that at the same time. Well, so we can't talk about all the positives and not talk about some of the negatives.
No, I know.
Because there are some negatives to technology. I just made that up.
Yeah, I was going to say that it sounds good.
There are some negatives to technology. So let's talk about some of the ways that technology affects us.
Right.
Okay. So it affects our attention.
Mm-hmm.
It affects our attention. It affects our decision making.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
It affects our relationship building. And we know that's a big one because we can go back to emotional intelligence, emotional quotient, and we can talk about all those things.
Right.
But it does affect our relationship building.
Okay.
Relationship building. And it also affects our memory.
Oh, wow. Memory.
Yes.
Okay, I got to hear this. Come on. Get right on in there.
Okay, so again, if you have
Memory.
any comments or anything, you can call or text your comments in to 305-898-0271.
Right. Okay.
So let's dig into some of those things. So I gave you 4 things.
Four.
That affect. I said attention.
Attention.
I said decision making.
Decision making.
Relationship building.
Relationship
and
building,
memory.
And memory.
So attention. So I have to read this because there are some studies that have been done. A recent study actually says that the average attention span has decreased by 4 seconds.
What?
And that may not seem like a lot. But when you add up those 4 seconds, I have a conversation here, I have a conversation there, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at that, I'm trying to focus on this, that, and a third. Those 4 seconds add up in a day.
Right.
In a day's worth of attention. So it went from 12 seconds to 8.
Wow.
And according to this study, that is shorter than a goldfish.
Wow.
Shorter than a goldfish. So
8 seconds.
8 seconds.
It's shorter than the goldfish is
the
an
attention
inch long.
span.
Oh, the attention span.
See, there we go.
I think technology is messing.
Technology is definitely messing with you. And so one of the reasons why this study came up and said that one of the reasons why this is happening, they believe, is because of all the distractions.
Oh.
So you can't pay attention to things or focus on things if you're distracted.
Right.
So we're distracted. I mean, how many times have you been having a conversation with someone and the phone rings? They can't listen to what you're saying because everything all around them, all the technology and all of this, all around them is taking their attention away from you.
Right.
So you're distracted by that.
Right.
We have a lot of things in our pockets. Some people have multiple devices. They have multiple phones. Hey, DJ Blend. They have multiple phones. They have a phone for this, a phone for work, a phone for business, more than one phone for business. They have a tablet. They have a whole bunch of different devices that they're trying to keep up with all at once.
Right.
All at once.
Right. Well, I can understand for business and personal, because I have.
Of course you can.
Yeah, I have a business and personal phone, so that's 2. But
I mean, most people have business and personal phones, but it's just the fact that those things can also be distractions.
Okay.
They can be distractions for you.
Okay.
So when we start talking about decision making, now decision making, I was a little torn about that one. I do understand why they say decision making. So one example is if you decide that you're going to buy a car. It could be anything. It could be furniture. It could be anything.
Right.
What is the first thing you're going to do?
Look up the car.
You're going to look up. You're going to go to the internet.
Yeah.
You're going to look up that car.
Yeah.
You're going to look at any safety issues that may have been with the car. You're going to look up mileage. You're going to look up, and I agree with that.
Right.
I agree that you should do some research. If you're going to purchase something and that information is available out there for you,
right.
I agree that you should basically do your homework.
Right.
You should do your homework.
Okay.
So we do turn to the internet basically for advice on what we should do. But it shouldn't stop there.
Okay.
It shouldn't stop there. It shouldn't stop there with the internet. You should also start, just thinking about some other things too. You can do some comparisons and all of that. But basically what this is talking about decision making is we don't, and this is not scientific,
Right.
so we don't use our gut feelings anymore. It is not about that
Well,
anymore. And like I said, this one is, I'm a little bit torn. This is what the research says. So I'm a little bit torn on that because I agree. If there's something that I want to do, there's something that I want to know, yes, I am going to consult the internet.
Right, right.
I'm going to consult the internet.
But then even after that, I mean, I think, knowing you, I know me, but knowing you, if even after you consult the internet, you know, you still process the information, and if you still don't feel right, which is your gut, you won't do it.
True.
So,
That's true.
I mean, I think maybe that may be minimized now because they have an abundance of information on the internet.
Right. And we know the information that's on the internet comes from different sources.
Right.
Everything, even research, even my research. I'm pretty sure you could find some research out there that will refute everything that I just said. But
Nah.
that will refute. Oh, nah, that's true.
Not with
that
you
will
looking
refute
at-
some of the things that I said, or maybe not, or could take it out of context or anything like that. But
Right.
there is a lot of research about it, and so you can find research. You have to be careful about when you start looking at statistics and stuff, because you have to look at what are those statistics based on.
Right, right.
What are those statistics based on?
Right.
So did they take a sampling, or how many people did they sample? What period of time did they sample those people? So
Right.
you have to be careful
Right,
about.
right.
You still have to be able to kind of sift through and discern whatever information you do get
Okay.
off of the internet.
Okay.
Now, I always have a big one. So a big one,
Uh-oh,
this is a
uh-oh.
big one, the relationship building.
Okay. Hold it right there. Just hold it right there. Leave that thought to them. Give them the number that they can call or text
The
into.
number that you can call or text into is 305-898-0271.
It's your favorite radio power couple, DJ Blend and Lady Blend.
She had the big one. And the big one is, once again, my friend Lady Blend, what is that big one?
Relationship building.
Relationship building. All right, so go ahead. Hit us in the head with that one. Come on.
So what I want to do first, though, is I have a comment. So I want to read the comment. And the comment says, well, I'm not sure if you touched on this earlier, but social media platforms, absolutely. Specifically, TikTok reduce attention span and affect our memory as well. And I know I recently deleted TikTok for a while because I realized I was taking longer to process information and my memory was getting worse. And
Wow.
That great comment caller, we are going to get into some of the things that you can do to manage your technology, that you should try to manage your technology. And that is one of the things that is a tip or a suggestion of a thing that you can do to manage your technology. Sometimes you do have to unplug.
Right.
You have to unplug.
Right.
You have to decide on how long or how much time you're going to spend on social media. And that's from TikTok to Facebook to Instagram. All of those
Yep.
social media outlets, you have to determine. And not just that, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I'm going to say not just that, the games that you're playing as well.
Oh,
All the games that we play on, I can't say we because I don't play any
neither
games.
do I. Neither
But
do I.
a lot of people play a lot of games, and I'll just leave it right there. So we're going to turn back. So thank you, listener, for that comment. Thank you, listener, for that comment. So going back to the relationship building portion of this. So another statistic was talked about that in 2020, they expected 2.9 million people. 2.9.
2.9 million.
Oh,
people.
I'm sorry. Billion. 2.9
Okay.
billion people to be on social media.
Wow.
Now, we do know that 2020 was the beginning of the pandemic. So we had a lot, we
Yeah.
were home
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there was,
Yeah, yeah.
all we had was technology because we had to stay in the houses. We couldn't be. And then when you couple with that with the social media, you couple that with the instant messaging
Right.
apps, all the instant messaging apps and texting and all of that, it has changed the way we build and maintain relationships.
Oh man.
We build. So we know, and I am not against any social media app. I'm not against any social media app. I do think that there is a such thing as doing anything in moderation. I think there is a such thing as too much. Too much.
Ain't never too much fried chicken though.
That's not a social media app. Not yet, anyway. But there is a such thing as too much. So when we start talking about relationship building, I will have to tell you again, and I know I kind of bring this up quite often, when I was a coordinator for a mentoring program for high school here in the city, one of the questions I asked the students, the mentees, was, do you think that you are more sociable with Facebook or less sociable with Facebook? And of course, the overarching answer to that question was, oh, we're more sociable. We're more sociable. So I always have a question for a question and a follow-up for a follow-up.
Oh boy, don't I know it.
So I said, okay, if you are more sociable with Facebook, how many let's just a number, you have 2,000 followers. How many of those 2,000 people do you know?
6.
Okay, because usually what happens is you're a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend and a friend, and someone has liked it, and someone has come back, that friend and a friend, and so that's how all of that happens.
Yep.
You don't know 2,000 people personally.
Right.
You may know the like those 6 people that you're talking about, you may know them, but you don't know 2,000 people personally.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I put it like that, I said, how many of those 2,000 people have you met? Face to face.
3.
Okay. So how then does that make you more sociable? It really doesn't.
Right.
It really doesn't make it more sociable. And remember, we were meant for a community. We were meant to communicate with one another. We were meant to talk to one another, to build relationships, with one another.
Right.
And social media is not building a relationship.
Yeah, you're right.
When you don't see the person,
Right.
when you don't talk face to face with that person,
Right.
a lot of that is just lost.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
And that interpersonal relationship is just lost.
So who, the what, or what?
Yeah, the interpersonal relationship. You don't have those interpersonal relationships.
And
as
you
a
said
matter of fact,
interpersonal. Oh, okay.
relationships.
Okay.
Because as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure some of you know, if you're not that person yourselves, when you go to the dinner table to eat, your phone or whatever that device comes with you. And instead of having a conversation, because I've seen it for myself,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen young people, and not so young people, I would say,
Right.
having a conversation with one another, texting.
At the dinner table.
At the dinner table, and they're in the same room, texting at the dinner table.
Well,
Because that's what people feel most comfortable doing.
Well, maybe they're just trying to have a conversation. They don't want everyone to hear.
And that's a possibility. They
Yeah.
could be trying to have a secret conversation. They could. But I have seen people in a room together having a conversation via texting, via text. And it's like they're laughing at the phone because they're looking at what they said and they're looking at what the other person said. And that is their conversation.
You know what else I've noticed? Whole families sitting at the family themselves sitting at the dinner table, and everybody's got their phone out. They're eating and nobody's talking to each other.
Because they're surfing the internet.
Yep.
They're on Facebook or Instagram or whatever.
Yeah.
So it affects us in our ability to build relationships, to build real relationships.
We need
I
to
would
go
say
back
that.
to like the days of the Waltons.
Yeah, when there was one phone in the house and it rang sparingly.
Right.
at the dinner table, they had conversations at the dinner table.
That's what I mean.
Yes, we did. We had conversations at the dinner table.
Yeah.
And we didn't have cell phones, so we couldn't use those cell phones.
That's right.
So again, building relationships. And then when we start talking about memory, which that goes back to what the listener was talking about, that they realized that the TikTok and all of that social media app, that they had to just take it off their phones, take a pause for the calls, because it was affecting their memory.
Right.
It was making their memory worse. And that is one of the side effects of, I'm going to say, too much social media, too much technology, too much of anything is not good for you. Too much of anything is not good.
Okay.
So it affects, because everything is at your fingertips. You don't have to remember anything. Even when you take notes about something, you don't have to remember it. All you have to do is go to your phone, go to your notepad. Okay, I put this down. What you do remember is probably where you put that note, what folder you put that note in, but you don't remember the actual information. And that's what we're talking about, memory.
Okay.
We're not talking about, I remember where it was stored, I remember what folder I put it in. We're talking about remembering the actual information.
The details.
Because you don't have to.
Right.
You have this crutch that all I have to do is just pick this up and look. I can look for the folder. I know where I put it. Okay, that's where it is.
Okay.
That's where it is.
Well, I could think of 3 things that undoubtedly, no matter how much it is for me, that it's good. It's just good. It's never too much. There's 3 things.
That has to do with technology?
No.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
I thought,
So you got another?
I have another comment.
Okay.
And the comment, the listener says, I agree. I think I have better conversations face to face than over social media. And caller, I use my word, I absolutely agree, because over social media, over texting, over email, sometimes we know that the meaning and the sentiment and all of that can get lost.
Right.
So, how you're meaning for that person to accept that information or receive that information and process it, that's not something we can put in a text message, and that's not something we can put in an email.
Right.
So talking to people face to face, you can, a couple of things. You can look at their body language, because people can type anything.
Yep.
They can type anything. But face to face, you can look at their body language.
Yep.
And you can determine whether they meant what they said or they didn't mean what they said.
Right. Right.
You can
right.
determine a whole lot about facial expressions, body language, and everything. Does it go in line with what's coming out of their mouth?
Voice inflection.
Right. All of that. You can tell all of that. Texting, emailing, all of that, all the social media, all of that is lost.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons. It's enough that people get just face-to-face communication kind of mixed up. You really can get other type of not face-to-face communication mixed up in terms of what someone means, what they meant to say, how they meant to say it, and how you receive it.
Right.
So absolutely.
So what you trying to say?
So absolutely, the face-to-face conversation is a whole lot better, and that's something that we used to do. We used to have that face-to-face conversation.
Right.
We used to want to, I need to lay eyes on this person because I need to see them.
Right. I need to see what they were saying.
I need to see, exactly. I need to see what they were saying. Okay. So, and again, you can text or call in your comments to 305-898-0271. I think we're going to take a pause right here, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about how technology can affect your health.
You're tuned into the Midweek Smoothie with DJ Blend and Lady Blend on Intermix Radio.
So we are back.
Yes, we are.
We are back, and we are talking about how technology affects our, I didn't say human development, but we're human, so how it affects our development and our behavior. So we went through some of the things that it does affect. We talked about attention. we talked about decision making, we talked about relationship building, and we talked about memory. Okay, so now we're going to go into talking about how technology can affect your health. So,
okay, I'm definitely interested in learning how it can affect your health.
How technology? So we've heard of eye strain.
Right.
Eye strain from either looking at your phone too long, your tablet too long, your computer screen too long, and all those things. So that is a real thing. It can definitely affect your eyesight and all of that. It can cause you to have headaches, blurred vision. It can cause a lot of different things. So again, in moderation. In moderation. Sometimes you have to get up and move away from the screen or move away from the phone and not be so glued to that phone, that tablet, that whatever that is, not being so glued to that. So again, it can cause you to have blurred vision, dry eyes, and the dry eye part of it is, when you blink is when your eyes moisturize. When you blink. The more you blink, the more your eyes moisturize.
Right.
And most of the time, when you're looking at your phone or your tablet or your computer screen, you're staring at them, so you're not blinking.
Right.
And so that can definitely cause dry eyes. It can cause you to have headaches from too much screen time, and it can also cause you to have neck and shoulder pain. Because believe it or not, sometimes you don't realize if you're looking at your phone, sometimes you're looking at it sideways, sometimes you're looking at it different kind of awkward ways. You may be looking at it, reading something in the bed. You may be doing certain things that you're not paying attention to because you're paying attention to your screen. You're paying attention to your screen. So
right.
Definitely eye strain is one of those things. And the other thing, this is a big one, guys.
Uh-oh, it's a big one.
We're going to have to work on that.
Okay.
This is a big one, and it is emotional problems.
Emotional problems.
Emotional problems.
Emotional problems. Okay. I can see how when they get all caught up in what's being said or I can see how that would.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have this age of, we used to have bullying anyway. Bullying is not something that's new. But now we have, because of technology, we have cyberbullying. So, and it is not just the social media in and of itself. It can make you feel connected.
Uh-huh.
But when you are constantly comparing yourself to someone else, and let's understand, mind you, that someone else may not even be a real person.
Yep.
That might not even be a real person.
Yep.
We see your representative. We see what you want us to see. There are so many people out there who do spoofing and all these different kind of things with technology, and you don't ever know, sometimes in certain situations, you don't even know who you're talking to. So, but when you're comparing yourself to other people, it can make you and leave you feeling that you are inadequate or you're left out. You're not a part of the group or the crowd or whatever. And those are real feelings, and those things hurt people.
I agree.
They hurt people.
I agree.
Those kind of things can lead to depression. They can lead to anxiety. They can just lead to a lot of mental health issues. So we have to be careful about that, the emotional problems that come from that. And we know, it's not just Facebook, it's all of the social media outlets that you have out there, because all of them can be that way. But we know that Facebook was created originally as a way for people to get in touch with other people, specifically from like high school or college. You have reunions, get in touch with people that you haven't seen for a long time.
Right.
So it was originally created for that purpose.
Right, and it morphed.
But it morphed into a whole lot more.
Oh, a whole
lot more. It morphed into us being less sociable with one another.
Oh, yeah.
Having less community with one another. and a whole lot of other things. And instead of making people feel good or making connections, it has in some instances caused people to be isolated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And isolation is never a good thing.
Right.
Isolation is never a good thing.
No, it's not. There's some good things that come out of social
there
media.
There are, and I'm about to tell you some.
Okay, because I'm
about to tell you. But see, now remember what we're talking about. I'm not just talking about social media. We're talking about technology, period, which does encompass social media.
Right.
It encompasses all of that. And remember I said that in moderation, everything can work. So just like you, when you decide that I'm going on that diet.
Right.
And I'm not going to eat after a certain time. I'm not going to eat so much of this type of food because I have a goal in mind. You have to do the same thing with your technology.
Right,
you have to know when it's time for you to unplug and to step away from it, because it can consume your entire lives.
Right.
That's not what you want it to do. It's not meant to do that.
Oh,
it's not meant to take the place of human contact.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just say that. It's not meant to take the place of human contact.
Right.
So, as you so brought up into my next thing, there are a lot of positive things about technology. A lot of positive things. And health tracker. We all probably have these watches that I don't have on a watch, but we all have. A lot of people have the watches where it can track your health. You have little small mechanisms now that can track your heart rate, take your blood pressure, temperature, all those kinds of things.
Oh yeah.
So in that technology, when you're not able to get to the doctor, if you're trying to monitor those things, those kinds of things are good. That technology, that's a great technological advance.
Yeah.
You have your health apps. You have apps that talk about, when you need to exercise, when you should be drinking water. Those are reminders about, you should have, water should be a part of your intake on a daily basis. If you're on some type of diet, you're trying to lose weight. It can also track what you're eating, track your calories. When you get to that point where you need to push away or you have a little bit more wiggle room, that. So it also tracks that. We have what we call now, and especially after COVID, during COVID and after COVID, we still have televisits. I think some of the doctors have kind of moved away from it because of probably the extra extra expense in trying to do that. But we still have some where you can have televisits where you don't have to go in.
Well, I'm surprised that they're moving away from it, because now with internet bundled everywhere, it's really just a form of internet that's used, through Zoom.
It is, but unless there is something that you can see from me looking at the camera, you can tell. You can't take my blood pressure over the internet. You can't take my heart rate over the internet.
Right.
There's just so many things.
Right,
You're basically looking at me and you are going by whatever my symptoms are, and to a certain degree, that's what happens when you go into a doctor's office. But then the doctor can actually look at you, can take your blood pressure, can take your temperature, can tell some other things, some other signs and symptoms that you may not know or take notice of yourselves. But now it serves a purpose. It served a purpose then, and it still serves a purpose, like I said. But I don't think that a lot of doctors' offices they do it sparingly.
Right.
Now, but they still do it, but they do it sparingly. A big one is...
A big one.
I told him.
Okay.
You're going to have to get another.
Yeah.
So a big one is online education. And, of course, came out
about that.
during COVID. That also came out during COVID, where the high school, elementary school, all the schools figured out a way that they could communicate with the students online, virtually, through Zoom and all of this. Teams came about during that time too, Microsoft Teams. So a lot of things came out of that for education. You can go to college online. You can do a whole bunch of things. So your education online, and it can also help you enhance your communication as well, because some of the colleges have classes or courses where there is similar to Zoom, where you're in the room and there is that interaction with the students and with the professor at the same time. So those are some great things that have come out of technology.
Okay, so I'm ready for you next time you got a big thing. No,
You ready for me?
Yeah, I'm ready for you.
Okay, maybe
Okay.
I'll have one coming up.
Okay.
Would you like to have an interview live on the air? Well, Intermix Radio has several different and affordable options. For more information, contact us at info@intermixradio.com or call us directly at 305-898-0271.
So we are back,
Wait,
and
this a
one-
big one?
This is the next thing that we're going to talk about. Not yet. The next thing we're going to talk about is going to be a big one, but we are back, and we are talking about how technology affects our development, affects our behaviors and everything. We're talking about that. And remember, it's not the technology. It's how we use the technology, how often we use the technology, and how we police ourselves when we're using technology. That's what we're talking about, that we do need to police ourselves. We have to have a point where we decide that we're going to cut back, and, unplug and all of that. We have to have some time to do that. So this next thing that I'm going to talk about, for all of you who have kids.
Is this the big one?
This is a big one.
Hold on.
You are listening to the Midweek Smoothie.
That's right.
On Intermix Radio.
There you go.
So the big one is how technology can have negative effects on kids. And I realize parents, I realize that sometimes we use technology as a babysitter. We give them a phone and we sit them down and they can play the games and they can race the cars and they can do all of those things on their phones, on their tablets and everything. And all the while, they're not communicating. They're not talking. They're not communicating with you. They're not communicating. Even if there was another kid in the room, they might say, oh, yeah, I got this high score. Can you beat that? But it's all about the screen time. So as the same as we should police ourselves, we definitely need to police our children when it comes to technology.
Yeah, definitely.
We need to
Definitely.
police our children.
Oh, yeah.
So we're talking about, so there was a study that was done in 2014, and it suggests that even after factoring in the junk food and exercise, technology appears to affect the health of children and teens. And so we
and teens. Wow. Okay.
So when we start talking about technology, we're using it in a broad sense. I said smartphones and tablets. We're also talking about television. We're talking about video games, and of course the phones and tech toys. We're talking about all of those things when it comes to kids.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
So, and another thing, talk up to the Mayo Clinic. So they do it. The Mayo Clinic does a lot of studies on a lot of different things. But what they said, the Mayo Clinic says that unstructured playtime for a child's developing brain is better than electronic media.
Unstructured playtime.
Unstructured playtime.
So just like giving them some toys, let them play with them.
And just let children play.
Right.
I mean,
or amongst each other.
When I was coming up, we had what you called, it's been termed, we had what you call unstructured playtime. So you go outside, you play with your friends, you play hide and seek, you play red light, green light, you play kickball, you play and then hopscotch, and in a lot of instances we made up games to play.
Yeah.
We made up games to play.
Yeah.
Children don't do that these days.
No.
Children their heads are stuck in their phone. Teens, their heads, not so much playtime for teens, but for the kids, their heads are stuck in their phones. They don't want to go anywhere without them. They don't even want to put them down.
Right.
When it's time to eat,
Yeah,
they want to
yeah.
take it with them.
They'll cry
They
or
wanna
fuss
take
if you take it away.
Yes, they will cry, fuss, and scream and holler and everything if you try to take it. But understanding that unstructured playtime, what it also does, it sparks imagination. It helps children to develop problem-solving skills. And when we talked about problem-solving skills before, but it helps children to develop problem-solving skills. And it also helps them to gain creativity. You know, when you're talking about creativity, you know, how can you be creative when everything that you're looking at is already there in front of you? You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is beat a high score. I mean, really, and I'm really being serious about this, because unstructured playtime is something that children, that parents, you need to get back to with your children. If you haven't done, you need to get back to with your children so that they are not so dependent on technology. They learn how to think. Remember, thinking is a skill. We have to learn how to think. We have to learn how to problem solve. Now, they have games. That's a part of technology, can teach you how to do that, and that's good. And then you ought to be able to use those things that you learn in everyday life, with your children. Sit down and play some games with them. Introduce them to some things that they've never seen before.
Right.
And if you're having if they are having screen time, limit their screen time. You can have screen time for an hour a day, or so long in a certain period of time. Definitely no screen time before they go to bed, because you want them to go to sleep and to be calm and go to sleep. No screen time during dinner. Definitely none during dinner. All the phones, no phones should come. You should actually have a no screen zone in your house. Because what that forces you to do is to communicate with one another. If you want to play a game or something like that, I'm telling you, we have to get to the place where we're teaching our children how to think, how to problem solve, how to have an imagination, how to be creative. And other than having toys or games that help to facilitate that, all the rest of it, it becomes noise. It becomes noise, and there is a such thing as being addicted to it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can see that for sure, you know. But now let's talk about this no screen zone.
No screen zone.
Okay. Well, that's for kids, right?
Well, no, that's for everyone.
Well,
you know, statistics say that you really should not have a television in a bedroom. We talked about that before. That you should not have. And I can tell you, when I was in another state, and I was not able to, because of the way my room was structured where I lived, I was not able to have a television in my room. I could only have it in the front room. And I can tell you, it was peaceful. It allowed me to go to sleep and not try to worry about what was on the TV, the light, and all of that. So you will have some psychologists, you will have some marriage counselors who will tell you, no TV in the bedroom.
Okay. Well, let's get past that one, because
that ain't going to change. I bet so. So let's get past that.
I was just talking about another room that needs not to have a TV. Any room. Because
it says no screen time. So screen time doesn't just mean television. It also means cell phones.
Okay.
It means any kind of technology.
Okay.
Anytime. There should be a time in your life or sometime that you don't listen, you don't answer your phone. Unless it's an emergency. If it's an emergency, that's something that's totally different. But there should be some time when you can definitely just unplug.
Okay. Well, I ain't going to interrupt you no more. Go ahead.
I bet you're not. So, but let me just say this too, though. Now, there are times that children, you know, like they said, the 2 years, that they can benefit. You can benefit from screen time. I'm not saying that it's all bad. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it needs to be regulated. It needs to be regulated. It shouldn't be all day, everything, every waking moment, every minute on either your phone or cell phone or in front of the television. It shouldn't be. And another study says that research has linked too much screen time or low quality screen time to behavior problems. And just like you were saying, sometimes the kids, they have a fit when you take the phone away from them. They scream and holler because they all they want is the phone.
Give me my phone.
Yeah, less time for play and loss of social skills. And we know we need to, our kids need some social skills. Our teenagers need some social skills. We need social skills. It can result in obesity.
There's some adults that need social skills.
Yeah, we need social skills.
Well, not we.
Not us, you and I.
But
I'm saying that there are a lot of
speaking.
people, generally speaking,
Right.
need some social skills.
Right.
Need social skills. Obesity, because that's the same thing. You sit the child in front of the TV, and they watching TV all this time, and they're eating. Mm-hmm. And they're eating, and that can be the same thing for adults.
Yeah.
Same thing for
They're
adults.
not being active. It's just
End up
piling
not
up.
being active. All you're doing is sitting there. You're just eating, and it's just piling up. And you can have sleep problems because if you don't unplug your screens at a certain time to give, in order for you to have sound sleep, you have to kind of calm yourself down. You have to calm yourself down. You have to calm yourself down. So, well, we'll be right back, and we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Time to pay some bills. We will be right back with more of your favorite 80s and 90s music here on Intermix Radio.
Are you interested in becoming an Intermix Radio sponsor? If your business would like to be highlighted on air in a commercial, then Intermix Radio has several options for you. For more information, contact us at info@intermixradio.com or call us directly at 305-898-0271.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we are talking about technology and how technology can affect our developmental behavior. And when we left, we came back, we're talking about kids and how kids, their screen time and all of that should be regulated, because we want the kids to grow up to be healthy adults, to be sociable adults, to have some problem-solving skills, to have some sociability about themselves, and not just relying on cell phones or the TV or anything like that. And I understand that it can be difficult sometimes. I know it can be. But for the welfare of our kids, we have to put forth that effort to get that done. So we talked about some different ways, but let me go to the phone because we do have some comments. So one comment says that even kids' health, just talking about kids' health, that kids don't go outside and play like back in the day because technology is their recreational activity. Absolutely. It is. It's their recreational activity, is their babysitter, is their pacifier. And like I said, in and of itself, technology is not a bad thing, but when it's not regulated, it can be. It can be detrimental to the child.
Seriously.
It can be detrimental to the child.
Yeah.
It can be detrimental to the child. So we just have to make sure that we're paying attention to our children and paying attention to their behavior as well. TV, we know kids, you can watch TV, you can watch cartoons, but we know that children also are very impressionable. So what they see, their environment, it shapes their world, what they see, what they hear. And, I know as a kid, some of you have probably thought about, seeing Superman and Batman. And by the way, Batman is the only superhero who doesn't have superpowers.
Okay.
So anyway, Batman rocks.
Anyway.
He has a lot of gadgets, though. But anyway, I said that to say what is called slapstick humor. And hopefully, maybe you've heard that term, but slapstick humor is similar to Laurel and Hardy. So, they used to hit each other on the head or think. Road Runner is a good, Bugs Bunny. All those are good examples. But you hit them over the head and they come back and you see them every time. Well, kids, they don't have the mental capacity to reason with, this is just a cartoon. This is just television. This is make-believe. So you have a lot of kids who would try to mimic what they see.
Yeah.
And so having that conversation with your kids when they see things to say, hey, this is just TV. This is why they come back every time. We can't do those things and be okay.
Well, the only comment I'm gonna have to that is we grew up on that.
We did.
And
you probably jumped off the sofa too with a cape on your back.
I don't remember ever doing that.
Okay.
But you know, I'm just saying, like, I love Tom and Jerry, Bugs Bunny, Woody Woodpecker, you know, like that. And you know, I didn't start beating people in the head or nothing like that.
No, you didn't start beating people in the head. I'm just saying.
Well, there's other things, but anyway, let's go.
We're not talking about that.
Go ahead.
So here are some ways, and this is how we're going to close out. Some ways to make the most out of technology. So some of the things we can do now. If your friends complain about you being on your phone too much and not paying attention, you might be that person who uses technology too much. If you neglect relationships in favor of technology,
that's terrible.
Might be using technology.
Now that ain't no might.
Much.
That is a definite.
If it interferes with your work. If you can't work because you trying to see what somebody's saying on the phone and it interferes with your work, you might need to step away.
You need a new job.
From technology. If it's causing you stress and anxiety about what you're seeing and what you're reading, you might need to step away.
Yeah.
From technology. So what I want everyone to take away from this again is that technology is not bad.
Right.
It's not bad.
No.
And there is nothing we can do about it. Things are advancing. We have AI. But we need to learn how to use those things in moderation.
Right.
And it's an individual thing. So you decide. You want a smart house, you want a smart house. You want a smart car, you want a smart car. You want all those things. That's an individual thing of what you want.
I want a dumb house.
But when you use technology and it takes the place of you building relationships and having community with one another, that's an issue.
Right.
Those are some of the things. So we've already said some good things that have come out of technology, you know, medical things that have trackers that have come out of technology. Online education has come out of technology. A lot of great things have come out of technology. The ability to do research online and the internet. Those are great things.
Yeah.
Anything, if it's too much of anything, it's not good.
Yeah.
So we have to learn how to do those things in moderation. Okay, I have a caller who agrees with me. Shout out to Batman. Shout out to Batman.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, Batman lover. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Batman. So again, the lesson that we really we're trying to bring about this is awareness. It is always about awareness that technology is a good thing. It can be a good thing. There are some positive things. There are also some negative things about it. And so we just need to make sure that we're paying attention to those things.
Right.
That we are paying attention.
Right.
We're paying attention to our memories. You know, we need to, if you have a muscle that you don't exercise, what happens?
Yeah, it gets soft.
You lose it. It's called atrophy.
Atrophy, okay.
It's called atrophy. So we have to exercise our brains. We have to exercise our bodies. We have to exercise everything. So we can't let technology just take over.
Yeah, I agree.
We have to be the boss of technology.
I agree.
We have to be, and know when to unplug, know when to step away. If you see that it is just all consuming your life, you need to step back.
Step back, y'all, because you heard it from the one and the only Lady Blend.
You heard from me.
Lady
and
Blend.
Parents, I'm gonna caution, and I can do that because I'm a parent and a grandparent, so I can't say this, that pay attention to your kids, pay attention to what they're reading, pay attention to what they're doing online. Use your parental exercise your parental rights there. You know, if you need to block things, block it.
Yeah.
But Just pay attention to your kids and what they're looking at, and kind of police what they're doing with that technology, because you don't want to wake up one day and find out that your child was on some site they weren't supposed to be on. So let's just be smart about it. Yeah, we want to be smart about it. So we want to use technology to our advantage, and we know that it's going to continue. Technology is going to continue to advance.
That's
and
right.
we do know that.
That's right.
But we want to make sure that we're being smart about using it, and that we use it to our advantage.
There you go. There you go. So what time is it, Lady Bland?
What time is it? It's time. It's the top of the hour.
Yes.
It's the top of the hour, and you are tuned in to Intermix Radio.
We are.
WYMS, Palmetto, Georgia.
Let's go.
Favorite radio power couple, DJ Blend and Lady Blend.
That's right, y'all. I'm
That's
DJ
right.
Bland.
And I'm Lady Bland.
And this is
Intermix
Intermix Radio.
Radio.